Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
It's inside because this is expensive. Right? Glad that able to. Okay, let's go. We're gonna go use the bedroom here. No, when you were 7 or 3?
7.
7.
Yeah.
You should have some kind of a company for people may want to stay for the weekend.
I know. Well, we're in the process of remodeling the mansion, so there's a lot of construction and dust going on, but you can see the original beauty of it.
Wow, this, I cannot imagine you're 5 minutes away from Trayvon.
I know, isn't it amazing? So you can see at the top of the house the markings where they finally finished the house. They started it in 1885 and finally finished it in 1890. All of this beautiful blue sandstone was quarried out of Niles Canyon, so local rock that they got from here. And he built it in this style because his wife was from Germany, and she was very homesick, and he designed it so that she would feel at home here. So he, Captain Ellis, that's where the Elliston name comes from. He had named the estate Elliston originally in the 1800s. He was the last elected chief of police in San Francisco, and he's the one Ellis Street in San Francisco is named after.
Ellis, yeah.
Yeah. So when my family bought it in the late 60s, it had changed hands a couple of times between the Ellis family and us. And the owners just previous to us had turned it into a convalescent hospital. So linoleum floors throughout. They painted all the beautiful wood with this white enamel paint. And my parents started stripping some of the paint off, but I guess for the hospital they needed to be able to clean the walls and clean the doorways. And so my parents started the process of tearing out walls that they could tell were not part of the original structure. So in these large rooms, they partitioned them off into areas for the hospital beds. Fortunately, when they started tearing down those walls that were not part of the original building, some of what they found was the fireplaces enclosed in closets. So fortunately, all of the tile work is the original tile work from the 1800s. And so my parents were approached by family members and friends of the Ellis family that knew them. And so they started telling us, you know, what the house looked like, what each of the rooms were used for, and they did a lot of entertaining. And so the men would gather in this room, and the women would gather in the other. So they did this more in a masculine look.
This is the smoking room.
Yes, and so what we discovered later was all the men after dinner would set their cigars up here on the mantle, and you could still see all the cigar
burns?
marks.
Wow.
We would
No
kill our
ashtrays.
husbands if they did that
No
these
ashtrays,
days.
yeah, no ashtrays.
That's right, that's right. And they smoked in the house. So
Yeah, no, really before indoor smoking is what, totally allowed or ignored.
Oh,
or-
yeah.
or it's
Yeah,
part
it
of
was a given.
life. It's
part
part
of
of
that.
life,
It was a
yeah.
given.
absolutely.
Buy
Yeah, so
tobacco.
it looks like you're able to get it back to where the original
Slowly,
is.
but it's just a long process, and then you just get through the house, and it's time to start over again.
Yes, there's one more thing to
You're
do.
finishing is most expensive.
Right. And then this is called the sitting room. And this is where the women would gather.
And so do you use these rooms for functions?
Yeah, so for the most part, it's used just for our bride and grooms to get ready for the weddings. And then our tasting room is in one of the rooms here. But then occasionally, about once a month, we do these dinners where it's open to the public. You can make a reservation for 2 people or 10 people and get a private room. So yeah, it's very unique. It's 5 courses, each paired with a different Elliston wine. and start with hors d'oeuvres and champagne as they arrive.
And so you have a chef who comes in.
We do. We have our own chef that does all of our events. Yeah, all of our weddings and dinners. Yeah. This is our tasting room here. This, when I was growing up. Yeah, a lot of the pieces my parents brought in because with the hospital, all of the furnishings had been given away. And I guess the last Ellis son that had the house lost it in the stock market crash in the 20s. So a lot of the furnishings were given away. So we only have one bedroom set that's part of the original room. I'll tell you about that one.
Where did your mom find
Yes, my parents. Yeah.
Did she find a local career? Did she have
Mostly San Francisco, mostly San Francisco auctions and things, you know, where they were doing estate auctions. Yeah. Many times people couldn't bid on those pieces because their ceilings were not high enough. So in the 60s and 70s, we didn't have these big high ceilings. So they were able to get some pieces that that they weren't able to.
When they do things, they match up their ones with food. Sure, chef.
So when I was growing up, this was the formal dining room. My parents did a lot of entertaining as well.
I know they usually do fill up pretty quickly though.
What do you guys, is it only one?
The 2 front room, and then if you go to the second floor, and then the other 3 rooms, and 4 rooms as well.
No, my parents did it all themselves. They were both college professors. And so in the summertime,
all the
when they
research
were,
themselves?
yes.
Sure.
Mhm.
They use all their resources.
Yes, yes. They're all covered in construction dust, but we'll get to it at some point.
Not even noticing at all. Overcome by So you still live here?
No, I don't. I live in Huntington now. We got so busy with events and things that it was difficult for us to have any quiet time. So it's called the drawing room. This is where everyone would have retired to after dinner to listen to music and to read and enjoy.
I
each
mean,
other.
every time you describe something, I'm imagining Downton Abbey.
I know.
Just
It's
imagine
true.
them somebody on the piano.
Yeah. So this is a popular room for private dinners, you know, when there's not to
And where would one look to find availability?
just call me and I'll give you my
You don't have a
phone.
website?
We do, yeah, elliston.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, for a really special occasion.
So at night, it should be fully secure.
Right, yes, yes. Yes, it is.
Do we have a few resident guests at night?
I don't, but when we're, oh, you mean ghosts?
Yeah.
I always wanted to see a ghost when I was growing up, and I never did. You know, I would say, I'll be very nice, I won't be afraid, I won't scream. Nothing.